Yeah, very good discussion. I was following up and it's hot, yes. And I have problems with why are we always talking about lobbying, advocating, gradual change and baby steps and elevators and stairs? Well, if you have elevators, why do you have to go through stairs? Like, am I making sense? If science tells us that we have to stop now with the facts, with the science supporting that, and we have sides, we have the investment managers, we have financial institutions, we have powerful organizations that are funding these projects, and you have, on the other side, you have the governments and the government institution that receives the fund and allow the research and the projects to go on in a specific area. If you have those two sides, and the science tells that you should stop now, why do we have to go through convincing each other? It's boring. I'm sorry to say that. It's very, and this is not only for fossil fuels. We should stop doing that. I mean, to everything that we know. Because when we're talking about climate effects and climate change, we all feel that. I don't know, I'm trying also to brainstorm with you also. So my question is, after everything that we all discuss, everyone gives their ideas and questions, what are we supposed to, because if you have money to fund for fossils, and we agree that we have to leave the fossil fuel buried, if we all agree that we have to leave the fossils buried, and you have money, you want to fund something, like you have money, you want to fund, why don't you fund the renewables? If you have something to fund certain projects, because now we are talking about renewables, and now the world is talking about critical minerals, that those critical minerals, like some of them, the cobalt, graphite, lithium, some of them are used to make maybe solar panels, wind turbines, and we know we need solar panels to move to renewables. Why don't you shift the discussion? And I'm saying this because some of our countries, including our African countries, they are the ones who negotiate with these funders, the financial institutions, so that they can give money. What is the problem? Like, why are they still funding instead of the science telling you to stop? What is behind it? I was listening to Honorable Rebecca also say, if you want to fund and you think there's something, like there's a hidden agenda. I want someone who can answer me. Is there any hidden agenda that we don't know?
Honorable, we hear you. Now, before your question is answered, let me ask you Honorable Rollins for Rider on the same question.
If we stop now, which alternatives are we putting in place? So I thought this discussion of energy transition is a gradual process. Maybe Italy say we want to achieve it by 2030, another country will say by 2040, another country will say by 2050. It's a gradual process as we look for alternatives. That's my understanding. But also related to your question is, if the money is there, why don't we stop and start funding straight away renewable energy? When Senator Eddie Maki was presenting, it was clear that of the money which was approved for renewable energy in the world, only 2%, actually less than 2%, reach Africa. So how can we remove that barrier that the money should reach developing world where these minerals are, set the solar farms there so that you can make them there, cut down the emission of during transportation and so on. So that is a very big question around there. Why can't we put manufacturing of these solar panels and battery at the source where there is cheap labor, the minerals are there, so that we can cut the cost. So this is the reality around there. And how can we remove the barrier of only taking 1% of the renewable energy money to the developing world, where we really need to address some of these challenges? I think I wanted to supplement, but somehow try to answer, but it's not my question.
You're asking a question and answering at the same time. Honorable Cecilia, before the interview.
I hope that this is not a salad for you, but okay.
Cecilia, before you come, sorry. Before you come.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
As we put a target for Norway, they want to receive carbon neutral by maybe 2050. Can they still use coal between now and 2050?
Which country?
Norway, for example.
Honorable, your time.
Let me go there. I think.
Microphone.
You know, thank you. For many of our countries, oil, gas are not only an energy problem, but also a fiscal problem, because you get revenue that's fully the case. And that makes it a little bit harder, to say, let's move out of it, because people, and I know that's Africa's case too, they're saying, where are we getting the money, to develop? That's a fair question, but I understand we have to provide answers, not just leave it at, okay, let's dig more oil, let's see what happens, or it's just an old problem. It isn't. So we were talking with Rosa the other day, and we were talking about, some proposals for these cases, like debt relief or debt, erase the debt, at least from multicultural banks or swaps. And now I go to what you were talking, Francesco, from protected areas. Being, an easy target or an easy sphere to compensate whatever that means, countries for not extracting hydrocarbons, right? So maybe it's easier when you have protected area. Why? Because of what you said. Because the area more likely than others will be protected, because many times they have everything to do with indigenous territories, and because there's the crossroads with biodiversity protection, right? So it is a good place to start. That I understand. So, and then my question is, you outlined the reality and the opportunities. Do you have some concrete strategies to channel financing for that area of, working possibilities? And then my last reflection, risk. You talked, and I read about stranded assets. I didn't know it was you. And I tried, and I'm using the argument a lot. But then the invasion of Ukraine occurred, and what appeared to be stranded assets, suddenly, financing went up because prices were so high, and many of the big companies who committed to just transition to renewables themselves began, investing like crazy in new exploration. Yeah. So I'm wondering, and with proposals like CCT, I'm wondering if the concept has aged well.
Stranded assets.
Yeah, if we can still, I think so, but what would be the main argument to say the risk, in spite of this spike in the prices, is still a big risk in order to be able to, to make that argument, even for public money, which is Bolivia's case again for fiscal reasons. I made myself clear. I hope so. And thank you for the patience.
Okay, you can take those questions. And maybe just a reminder, this is not a question and answer session. It's a session where we need to suggest and discuss strategies that can be employed to accelerate. So let's just have some kind of a conversation. Okay? And maybe another question.
Yes.
Maybe
Not a
before.
question, just
Okay, honorable.
Yes. Yes, I think one strategy we have to adopt, like you said, sorry, your name. What's your name? Yes, Luca. Yes. You suggest civil society working with the legislative or working with parliamentarians is a very good strategy, because sometimes as parliamentarians we don't get enough information, but the civil society can go and get information which we will use as parliamentarians and use parliament to talk to the government, to talk to the president or those in charge, because we have the legal rights to table things, table whatever. That can be one strategy, working closely with our civil society organizations in our country, in the area, those that are working around climate change issues. That's one. And we can also collaborate in the area of tabling a bill. Because sometimes, yes, we are all talking about it, but if you ask how many countries really have a climate change act, because some of these laws also enables you to put forward your case, to also put forward the case of vulnerable people. So we can also collaborate with civil society to table a private member bill around climate change and regulations that will also help the country from people that will come in to want to do anything around fossil fuel or gas. Because if we have laws, we are saying the fossil fuel companies don't have policies or the banks don't have policies, but the country also doesn't have. So if we have, they have no choice but to buy in from there, because you can't come and do any business without going through government and using the laws of government to go about your business. So if the law says, no, you won't do X, Y, Z around anything that will affect the country's emissions, so that person will go back and will not invest in whatever fossil fuel or coal or whatever is doing around things that will affect the country in terms of climate change. So that collaboration with civil society as members of parliament, although we are politicians, but it's very, very good, because they are the ones that goes right down to the grassroots people. Every day they are with the people. Every day they all can talk with the people. So these informations can come in and we can build some policies, laws around it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Rebecca. Over to you, sir. Microphone from here. There's one here.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Parliamentarians, and this is a very rich conversation, and I'm taking a lead and from you to again share something more concrete for us to know what we can use, and also the discussion on how civil society can collaborate. So, and your point on the fiscal aspect, which is extremely important, and this is where the conversations are happening at various levels. In fact, again, I would like to refer to a particular resource, and the website is equityreview.org. I'll repeat, equityreview.org, which is a civil society initiative. Since 2015, we have been bringing out reports on the equitable actions that need to be taken by the global community, and again, rich countries have to do a lot more, needless to say. But the latest report that came out around COP28 actually talks about how the extraction-related equity needs to be applied. and it has specific charts plotting countries on x-axis and y-axis based on their timeline and their dependence on fossil fuels.